So, some days have already passed since Light and Darkness the Dragon Lord has been announced, and now Ido Pro has finally updated it into the database, so I could finally test it out in the actual battlefield. This is no more theory crafting, this is actual gameplay. So, let's just jump right into it, but before we start, be sure to subscribe if you wanna see more Yu-Gi-Oh! And so much more content from me. I have so much roaming around in my channel, you can see around if I have something to tickle your interest, even outside the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, you can also put a like if you're gonna enjoy this video, and leave a comment to let me know what you think about this combo. You like it? You don't like it? Do you plan on using it? So yeah, now let's just jump right into the action. So, we start off with the basic combo of this deck. So, I essentially gonna show you the basics of the decks before we start with the actual replays, so you can understand what's going on and what's gonna happen and what's happening on the field. So, we have Allure of Darkness, which is gonna use Mercurier as a tribute essentially. We draw, of course, to Branded Head because why not? But yeah, we get Mercurier, we get Cartesia on a hand thanks to Merc. Activate Branded Opening, discard the extra head, get Aluber, get Branded Fusion, activate Branded Fusion, and very important here, we make Albion with the Bestial Lubellion. These two cards not only are important by themselves, but it's also important that we make Albion as well. Now, if you know the deck, you probably know what's going to happen, but if you're relatively new and if you're here to make a culture for you, for your knowledge, you will see. Now, we activate and resolve Albion, we make Lubellion, we essentially make Mirror Jade, we activate Saronir, get Lubellion again on the graveyard, get Lubellion on the field, normal summon Cartesia, set red, and then activate Albion from the graveyard and set Banishment. I absolutely love this card, and I love that this card is so useful, especially in this combo. So, I'm not gonna use anything from the opponent side of the field, this is just for showcase purposes. So yeah, Allure of Darkness, yada yada, activate Mercurier, normal summon Aluber, activate the effect, activate Branded Fusion, activate Mirror Jade, activate Banishment. So we are kinda chaining here. We get Albion again on the field, and we have Light and Darkness Dragon thanks to the combo of Albion and Lubellion. They are both level 8 Dragon Monster, 1 Dark and 1 Light. So this is very important and very cool. So we banish the opposing monster, they activate their effect, mandatory negate again, and guess what? Mandatory negate again. We used 3 mandatory negates. This effect is mandatory and will also negate your own effects. So I recommend you to use everything this card does before you activate any other of your effects. You're essentially not paying a cost, because if your opponent doesn't activate anything further, you win. So yeah, you don't really need to, but yeah, you can also bait yourself out and make essentially this. Activate Cartesia and use her and the dragon to make Grand Guignol. We crash, they get Cartesia. We get Grand Guignol, get Luluvarit on the field. Fusion Summon, negate, 500 attack, etc. Albion, red in the end. Fusion in the end, Cartesia in the end. This is pretty much the basics. Now, a bit of spice happened there, I made some spice happen, but yeah, we're just comboing off getting Luluvahit on the field, but gets negated. Quem nochmal summoned, getting Albats on the field, getting Albion Sanctifier, we attack for game. You pretty much get it what I mean. So, this was the basics. Now let's jump right into the first game that will show you how powerful this deck can be, especially against very powerful opponents. Our first replay of the day is against the new Drytron. With new Drytron, I mean Drytron with the new support and that abomination, that absolute abomination of a ritual monster. Not that Drytron before wasn't already an abomination, which is a shame because the design are very cool, but yeah, why do they keep giving Drytron support? Please stop making people play this deck. It's really annoying. Stop. I'm begging. So, we activate Allure, draw 2, banish Saronir, activate Aluber. We get Banishment. Activate Branded Fusion, get Rebellion, Albion. It's the same combo. Rebellion, discard, Mirror Jade, Saronir, get Opening for Protection, Rebellion on the field, Banishment, Albion, set red, pass. We just miss Cartesia, but yeah, they forbidden droplet my Mirror Jade, so yeah, but this doesn't really matter. We are their Nova, normal summon Herald, activate Banishment, get Albion on the field, get Lad on the field. They try to Entis destroy it, but negated, and once again Benton negated. At this point they just surrender. This is how overwhelming this card is. And mind you, they dropleted my Mirror Jade. If they didn't, if we had Cartesia here, like you saw in the tutorial combo, this was up to even more than 5 interruptions, because then the Dust Dragon was donated to the field, and if my opponent somehow managed to summon something, I get Luluvahit on the field, which is another negation. So yeah, this is pretty powerful, and my next turn I can even just normal summon Albats and discard the card I draw for turn, and fuse it with whatever remains, if something remains on the opponent's field. So yeah, this game is pretty much over at this point. Now, let's just jump right into the next replay. So our next opponent is a Magispecter deck. Okay, it's pretty weird, it's pretty unorthodox, but whatever. We activate Allure, get Quem and Ash, okay. Not the best, not the worst. We banish Albion, they roll us, not really a problem for this deck to get the hold, especially because we don't really add cards, but yeah. We Branded Fusion, usual combo, getting Albion, getting Mirror Jade, summon Quem, getting Red, Albats on the field. I did not go for the full combo because it required me essentially to discard either of these cards, and I knew I could avoid it. I could just avoid it and make the most optimized play. So yeah, I just opted for the Branded Red line and save an Ash Blossom and a Branded Fusion for the following turn, because you never know, and also we get to see another line if things got bad. I feel like I could have made the Lad line here, but yeah. So they activate this. What? Please do not ask me why, but yeah. Magispecter Fox gets sashed. They activate Cyclone, get my Mirror Jade out. I activate Mirror Jade, they don't have monsters. I activate Branded in white, get Albion on the field, get Dragostapelia, Branded Fusion, and they lose connection, quote unquote. So yeah, they didn't really have anything to do. I feel like they just wanted to surrender, but they just closed up the game. So yeah, this was pretty much over. They couldn't really do anything. So yeah. So in this replay, we see how the new Blood Dragon is very powerful, but also how much you gotta be careful. This is one of the first replays, if not the first, if I recall correctly, I made with the new card, and I misplay a couple of times here because I was still not used to Lad being around, but despite that, I show you how much of a disruption that card is for your opponent, even if you misplay. So, we just activate Allure of Darkness. I activated Allure of Darkness in basically all the matches I'm showcasing you. This feels like more Light and Darkness Dragon and Allure of Darkness showcase, but whatever. We get Merc banished, we get Cartesia, branded opening, get Aluber, discard Albion, branded Fusion, we got the other Albion. Why am I calling Lubellion Albion? What this means? What does this mean in the lore? That I'm an idiot. But yeah, we go for the usual combo here. We also normal summon Cartesia. We set Banishment and we are good to go. The other Cartesia then always useful. Our opponent is Mementolan. I don't know what this deck exactly does. I know it's getting pretty sweet support in the next expansions, but I don't really know what does this means. I know that they're like historic cards, like classic cards, like this is Triorned the Dragon, but like remade in this weird way for some reason. Like this is Darkblade, bro. Like couldn't they just make a separate archetypes for any of these guys? But whatever, they get Darkblade on the field, they try to destroy my trap card, I banish him and activate Banishment as a chain, get Land on the field, goodbye Darkblade. Tatsunogu gets negated, Bomb Party gets ashed, we're all good in the wood. And if I misplay, I get 2 ahead of my game plan, and yeah, I try to activate cards. It's wrong, you don't do this, guys. But you'll see that despite that, like the fact that I managed to negate that card to my opponent, it's pretty powerful. It's the power of a Nomini Negate for a deck that didn't really have a Nomini Negate before. So yeah, they get rid of my head, but now I can use my Blazing Cartesia, get Dusk on the field. I activate Dusk effect, get my Albion on the graveyard, get Albads, and I just attack directly. Set Branded opening, set Branded head because we do have Albads in the graveyard. Cartesia in hand, we are pretty much good. They activated their field spell, get Bomb Party, but they can't really do anything. I feel like just attacking for game, and that's pretty much it for our opponent. Onto the deck list. This is the deck list I came up with. You can come up with some changes. I will suggest some changes. So yeah, you can play 2 of this card and maybe even play 2 of Banishment. I'm not gonna stop you, because that can be absolutely useful. Again, maybe your opponent somehow stops you. You can do this again, because with Mirror Jade you are still sending another Albion. So yeah, absolutely, if you wanna put 2 of the package, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. It may be even more useful than we think. So yeah, Light and Darkness Dragon, it's an amazing card. It's essentially a retrain of an already good card from the past. I'm very happy this card exists, because Light and Darkness Dragon is a sick card, even just by the design, like the monster design. and I really wanted to use it for the longest time, even in Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was pretty sad I couldn't, and now I can, even doing it with essentially my favorite modern deck. So yeah, pretty good card. You can use it as a 2-off, even with double banishment. A bit more of branded in white, maybe. It really depends, up to you and how you make your board. This concludes my analysis of branded with Light and Darkness the Dragon Lord. I hope you enjoyed. If you wanna use this deck, let me know how this goes. Let me know what changes you made. If you maybe listened to my advice, you made like a list with 2 Light and Darkness Dragon. Let me know in the comments. I feel like this is a way cooler way to win matches than with the Gimmick Puppet Lock. So yeah, it's also more interactive, requires less bricks, or really no bricks, because it just like slots in your extra deck, which is already pretty stacked as for a normal branded deck. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye!